want to learn more about you. We got into the heavy stuff of telling them what the kids can do. So let's learn more about you. I have some fun questions, but I also want to hear how you got into coaching and how you ended up the head coach at Xavier.
It's funny because the last couple of weeks, this is the one time in my life I felt like I've had a job. Like I'm answering emails, I'm talking to people on the phone, I'm working from home. I have largely a leadership job. I live to lead, and I miss leading to the point where I'm getting a little emotional talking about the void right now that I have in it.
Yeah.
But I've never looked at it as a job. I've never looked at it as I've had to work. I think this job found me, and I think I'm very blessed, and it's very unique where I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So when I answer this question and tell the story, I look back to, I used to go to high school sporting events in and around Boston with my dad. He would take my brother and I to watch certain guys play. And at those games, my brother and my friends would run off and play during the games, and I would stay and watch it. And we always sat near the bench, and I was always listening and watching. And then I grew up near a high school football field on the other side of the woods. And every day after junior high and elementary school, even though I didn't play football, I would drive down and watch them practice. There was a great high school baseball coach in my town. I would drive up and watch them practice. And I could imitate all these coaches and do a shtick. And I had like a stand-up act. And looking back now, I was studying the coaches and I was becoming a student of the game. So in 7th grade, my dad went to a basketball draft for our town, and I gave him a 5-page spreadsheet. And he said, "What's this?" I said, "This is every kid in 5th grade in our town. Here's what I think you should draft in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round." And he looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah. And I look back, but I always kind of had this in my blood. And I was always a great leader. I was always, I think leaders are born. I think leadership, you either have it or you don't. And I always kind of rose to the front of the crowd and the front of the bus. And I was always a coach on the field and a student of the game and a fiery guy. And then probably my junior year of college, the coach started to bring me by the office at Marist College, where I went in New York. And he'd say, "What do you think of this?" And after the games, he'd say, "What do you think of this?" And he would say, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing this with the lineup. What do you think?" And then my senior year, before halftime, I'd stand outside the locker room and talk to the coaches. And I'd go in and sit as an athlete. And my senior year of college, I went and scouted my first game with the assistant. And they sent me out to watch a recruit. And from then on, it kind of took care of itself. So that's kind of how I got into it. It's always been in my blood. But the funny thing I want to share with the student athletes in the audience is I always thought I'd coach on the side in some capacity. But I was a business major. And every project I did for business, I did about sports or running a college soccer program. So I always wanted to combine business with sport. And then it turns out I went to a job fair my senior year, and I had a suit on, I had a planner, I had my resumes. And I sat down with 2 people, felt super stuffy, super just not me. And I walked upstairs in the arena to the soccer office and I said, "I can't do this. I need to be a coach." And the coach said, "Yes, you need to be a coach." And that's how it all started. And the final thing I'll throw in is, my first 3 years coaching, I made $3,000, $6,000, and $8,000. And it was volunteer and I worked full time. And I bartended 2 nights a week, and I substitute taught, and I did private lessons, and I coached club, and I worked with a contractor on the weekends, and I kind of just found my way and paid my dues. And I tell you young people that because now I hear my college students say, "I got offered an internship this summer, but it's not paid." A lot of us worked for free or worked our way up, and I found that it was my passion, and I paid my dues. And when I finally broke through, I probably appreciated it more and it meant more, because I had to kind of earn my keep. And I think that's the beauty of the coaching industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a cool start there. I can picture you with your notepad watching the coaches sideline in 7th grade. That's pretty funny. I like it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.